teaching the Word of God for real-life application. Community outreach for at-risk youth, making a difference, one life at a time. So come join us at Abundant Faith Church, where we walk by faith and not by sight.
He wants us to be blessed. He wants us to understand that He's a good God and He has blessings for us, but we've got to understand how He wants us to live. And these four things that we talked about this last week, the first one was if you're going to see success, or let's say if you're going to bear fruit, you're going to have these four things in your life. You're going to have to be planted in the house of the Lord. Number two, you're going to have to delight and meditate. Say delight and meditate. Delight and meditate. You're going to have to delight and meditate in the Word of God. Number three, you're going to have a good heart or a pure heart. And number four, you're going to have to abide and dwell in the Word of God. Four things that will help you bear fruit. Now, look at number three. Have a good and pure heart. Go to Luke chapter 8. If you're going to bear fruit, number three, you're going to have a pure and good heart. How many of you know that your heart can get contaminated? Right. How many of you know that if you've been hurt, you begin to build walls around your heart, and you begin to separate yourself from people? Some people even separate themselves from church. Some people just separate themselves from having good people because they've been hurt too many times. And what happens is you're contaminating and you're hurting your heart, and when your heart is not right, you cannot bear fruit. I don't care if you're tithing, if you're giving, if you're sowing, if your heart is not right, the key ingredient is you've got to have a pure heart. Right. You've got to have a good heart. Amen. See, because in the parables, Jesus talks here in Luke chapter 8, verse 15, He says, but the ones that fell on the good ground, say good ground, are those who, having heard the word, watch this, with a noble and good heart. Keep it. Watch this. Notice that He said, and keep it. Not just have a good heart, but keep it good. And bear fruit with patience. Another word for patience is they bear fruit with endurance, or they bear fruit with staying power. In other words, when we listen with a good heart, a gracious heart, a courteous heart, a well-mannered heart. When we listen with a well-mannered, you're not just listening and saying, okay, what does Pastor want to say this time? I know what he's going to say. I don't need to hear this. I know what it is. No, when you hear with a well-mannered, with a gracious heart, when you know that you've done wrong, you say, Lord, it's in my heart. Wash it. Cleanse it. Make it pure. Make it right. Lord, don't let people influence me. See, you guys are supposed to be the influencer, not the influencee. You let every person influence you because of about what somebody said about somebody else, and you treat them different. You let other people, just because of what they act or what they say, you let them influence you, and you begin to act totally different around them. You should be the influencer, because they talk about something, you know what, I still love you. And you know what, if there's something, you know what, you need to tell them the truth in love. Listen, brother, you've hurt me. And you know what, the Word says, you know, you shouldn't do that. And I'm just coming to you just as a loving brother and sister, and just telling you. Oh, but I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to offend them. But you're all offended, and you're acting, and you're hurting your heart. You're hurting your fruit. You're hurting everything because you have allowed the walls to hinder and contaminate your heart.